Alright guys, here's an updated video of my pocket knife collection as of early April of 2023. It's a video that I've been wanting to do for probably about the last 6 months or so, but for whatever reason I haven't really gotten around to it until now. So the collection has changed a little bit since my previous knife collection video I did, I think maybe it was 2019. Some of what you see here is the same, some of it's changed. This is going to be a real short, brief video, guys. I'm not going to be talking about any of the knives in depth. 90% of what you see here I have already done a video on, and the few that I haven't, I have plans to do specific videos on them in the future. So this is just kind of showing you guys what I have. I know some of you enjoy these videos, so I just thought I'd show you what I'm looking at nowadays. So as far as fixed blades, these three right here, plus my SE Laser Strike, which is in my camper. I wasn't able to get it out, but the four of those make up my fixed blade knives. This one here is a case knife that I inherited. This is a fixed blade that I had done from some friends that own a local business. And then here is the Spyderco Bow River. Up above that, the Leatherman Sidekick. Then the Leatherman Skeletool. Neat thing about this one, it is the model that was done initially by REI that has the topographic print done right on the blade. Not focusing too well. Hope you can see that okay. Anyway, neat little Skeletool. SOG Power Pint. Leatherman Squirt. Used to carry that a lot. Gerber Dime. Moving on down is probably the most recent knife I've added to the collection. It's just a buck 110. After that is this little British Army knife. That's another knife that stays in my camper for when we go camping. I use it when we're just sitting around the campfire for various tasks. When I don't want to use one of my nicer blades, it's handy. After that, the Spyderco Police, that's the lightweight. Manix 2, lightweight in the transparent blue. Good old Spyderco Paramilitary 2, that one has seen a lot of use. This is the knife that started it all for me. That's the one of the earlier versions of the current Spyderco Endura 4. What I mean by that is the steel that they used on it was VG10, which is still what they use, but it was like a polished steel, more so than the steel they do now, which is kind of interesting. That was a knife that belonged to my grandfather. He gave it to me, and that's kind of what began all of this madness. After that, another Endura 4, that's the Cutlery Shop exclusive in the orange and black Zome scales. Moving on down, one of the knives from the Godfather himself, Mr. Nut and Fancy. Yet again, another Endura 4. It's exclusive TMP coloration. Last on the top there is same Endura 4 with the Emerson Wave feature. Going down from that, Spyderco Upturn. If you YouTube a review of that, chances are you're going to see mine. I'm one of the only people that's done a review on that knife so far. I like the little knife. I don't know if it's going to catch on or not. Who knows? Maybe something that you don't see much of in the future. But I was glad I was able to get one. Very affordable. Left of that is the UKPK. That's the Salt version in the LC200N steel. Next across is the Atlantic Salt. I keep that model in my truck just because with the serrated blade. Make a good seatbelt cutter, should you ever need one. Then this knife was the knife that I guess really began all of this stuff for my family, because this was my grandfather's first Spyderco. That's a Gen 3 Endura-4 with the ATS 55 steel. That was the knife that I grew up seeing him use so much, and then after he passed, I inherited. That is by far the most special knife in my whole collection. Over from that is the Tasman Salt with the hawkbill blade. Next from that is my wife's Native, Spyderco Native. My Spyderco Native, just a standard Delica 4, another TMP blade, that's a Delica. Over here, that is the Salt 2, so it's basically a Delica, no nested steel liners, all of the hardware is coated, and then it has a extremely corrosion resistant steel. Moving over, Para 3 lightweight, Centofonte, Tenacious. We'll jump down here. Oops. That's the Spyderco Arc. Next to that is the Astute. There is a older generation Dragonfly. I think it's a 2nd gen. Beside that is the 3rd, and what makes for the complete collection, TMP Dragonfly. Then we get into, oops, nope, sorry, down here, a few more Spyderco. Clip-A-Tool, Grasshopper, Ladybug. Yeah. Jumping back up here, getting into the Victorinox part of my collection. First is the Bantam, then the Spartan. That's the Compact. Here is the Farmer. Up next is the Huntsman in the translucent blue scales. Next to that is also a Huntsman. The black one was the first Huntsman I had, and I lost it, and it had been missing for a couple of years. So after I lost it, I bought the blue one, and then sure enough, I don't know, maybe about a year after I had the blue one, I then found the black one. It had fallen into the very back of the closet under some hiking boots, so I was excited when I found it. Up next is the Huntsman Light. Biggest difference with this one, obviously, is that it has the little LED light. Here is the Victorinox One-Handed Sentinel. Down here, a lot of Cadets. And by the way, the TMP blades I have, like the Dragonfly and the Delica and the Endura, I've had all of those signed, well, engraved, I should say, by Nuttin Fancy. I sent them to him, and he very graciously engraved them. He marked that one TMP HOF EDC. Obviously, you know what that means. And then on that side, there's his cool signature, Lieutenant Colonel Nuttin Fancy. So all of the TMP stuff is marked with his engraving. And then this is my Cadet that I bought before his official TMP Cadet came out. So I sent this one to him, and he engraved this one. So anyway, these are all Cadets here. Nothing super special. This is the official TMP Cadet that came out. You can see it, there it is. Sorry about the focus, guys. There we go. Yeah. Beside that, the Victorinox Mini Champ, and then the Mini Champ in the A-Lock scales. Beside those, a couple of just Victorinox classic knives. again in the A-locks. These are definitely the smallest, thinnest blades I have. Really, really small. Still handy. Up here, just regular classics. Neat thing about these two here is both of those knives were gifts from students of mine. A few of my students know that I run this little channel, and they very, very generously went out and spent some of their own money just to give me a gift. Extremely kind and generous of them. Really like those blades, just if nothing else, just for the story behind them. Thought that was really cool and generous of those students to do that. Down here, these are all of my wife's classics, all Victorinox classics. These are the National Park series. She has all of them except one. I'm not going to say which one is missing. I know which one is missing. I'm going to see if any of you can spot the one that is missing. We have bought these all in person from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, one per visit. Yes, we could have easily gone in and bought them all in one go, but that's not much fun. We decided to make it a little adventure that we would string out over the course of a few years. So she has all of them except one. And if you look closer, you can probably figure out which one is the one that's missing. After that, jump back up here. This is the Artisan Cutlery Hyperion. That was a Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive. Over here, this small knife here, I know very little about. The only thing I really know about it is it belonged to my great uncle, who was a survivor of the Bataan Death March. And when he returned home years later, this was after the war had ended, years later he purchased this little knife at a local hardware store, and that was the pocket knife that he carried after the war. He didn't have that knife during the war. It certainly wasn't with him. Nothing that dramatic or that interesting. Just to know that that was in the pocket of someone who did survive the Bataan Death March. Pretty interesting. If you don't know anything about Bataan Death March, Google it. Terrible thing, and fascinating that any of those people survived. Going next is a buck. I don't remember the model. Somebody I'm sure can tell me what that is. I forget the model of that one. Over here we have my very small, humble case knife collection. The black one is a peanut. The middle one is the mini copperhead. And the largest one is the Trapper Lock. Those are my three folding case knives. Obviously, I have the larger fixed blade there, but those are my three folding case knives. Getting on over here, we're into the Benchmades. This one here is the Benchmade Proper. Benchmade Mini Griptilian, which I dyed myself. Kind of a neat green color. Here is a discontinued knife. That's the Benchmade Ascent. I think that's the model. Yeah, I think that sounds right. I think that's a Benchmade Ascent. And then obviously, everybody knows the Griptilian there. Last but not least, here on the far end is my Honey Badger. This is the largest model Honey Badger. I haven't really carried this knife at all yet, but I did get the custom grips, hardware, as well as the blue backspacer. I really, really like this knife. I'll be honest, I haven't carried it much because it's obviously in pristine condition right now, and I kind of hate to change that. I know it's a tool, everything on the table is a tool, but it is nice to have one or two on the table that are just really in immaculate condition. And as you can see, a lot of these have seen some wear, seen some use, and that's okay. I think that's how it should be. Anyway, just a quick video, guys, just showing what the collection looks like nowadays. Be interested to see what all you guys have, what you're looking at nowadays. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. We'll see you next time.